Alright, we're back for another Boros Burn live stream. As a friendly reminder, if you do like seeing this later on YouTube, please consider subscribing to the channel, giving us a thumbs up, leaving a constructive comment down below, and giving us a follow over here on Twitch, where we live stream every Sunday between 7:30 and 8 p.m. start time every Sunday evening. So, starting out with a little bit of a different take than the version we ran last week. I know somebody discussed a couple of lists have been running like 3 Eidolon and the Great Rebel. Figured we'd give it a try. Added 1 Skull Crack, added a 3rd copy of Lightning Helix. We're trying out 19 lands again. Other than that, really not a whole lot's changed. We're still running a couple Exquisite Firecrafts this week. Running 3 Sanctifier and Vec because every time I don't run it, I run into decks that I immediately regret not having it. So we're going to try that out. Still liking the 2-2 split on Path and Palm. 3 Smash has been fine for us for the most part. 3 Rolling Vortex feels a little bit light, especially into a meta full of indomitable creativities and Team Rhino or Rhino variants and everything else. But, it's kind of need to make room for the Firecraft somehow. So that's what we're going to do. And I like running 3 Sanctifier instead of 2. So that's kind of where we're at with the list. As always, if you do like this kind of content, hopefully you'll give us a follow over here on Twitch, and let's get into some matches. So keep taking a look at this hand. 1 lander, even on the draw, just doesn't have enough upside. Even if we draw a 2nd land, if it's another mountain, we just don't have enough to be able to cast our spells. So I think we have to go with the mulligan here. This hand's alright. Put back one of the fetch lands. Or I guess we can put back Sacred Foundry, potentially. Okay. So, Dreadge immediately off the bat. This feels like a Dreadge opening. Probably a copy of the 1 mana, look at the top 3, put the cards in your graveyard. Yeah, the World of Gaze. Could be like Crabvine or something, but no, it's Dreadge right off the bat. So we're going to reveal a land, City of Brass. Opponent's going to get to unload their hand here, kill our Goblin guy, deal us some damage. Nope, never mind, they have Thrilling Discovery. Cathartic. Okay. Opponent gets an Archamoeba and an Amalgam. Let's go ahead and Searing Blaze this Archamoeba out of the way. Draws another Cathartic. So basically we've got 3 copies of Sanctifier and Vec in our sideboard. Okay, what are they going to... Are they going to flag here? 2 here, 5 to our face. There's their Nox hanging out down there somewhere. Okay, put us to 11. Seems unlikely we'll live long enough to do anything, because they'll just... Okay, there's a chill in the air. Shocker. Alright, moving on, because we're not burning out our opponent from that before we die, so... 3 copies of Sanctifier and Vex seems fine. Everything else is kind of wishy-washy. Eidolon's not the best in this matchup, so we'll go with that. Searing Blaze is like a fine magic card in this matchup, clearing out their different things. But previous to Crippling Chill, Dreadge was like an okay matchup for Burn, and then once Crippling Chill got added to the mix, it's been a very negative overall matchup for Burn. Obviously, you can play things like Rest in Peace or more copies of Sanctifier and Vec to improve the matchup, but graveyard decks, especially Dreadge, haven't been prevalent enough to really run a ton of graveyard hate. But just one of those matchups you kind of hope to dodge sometimes. Yes, I'd love to play first. Guess we'll try it. Of course. As if this matchup isn't garbage enough. Our opponent's drawing a Cathartic Reunion if they had wanted to. They have Leyline on their board. Pretty sure we're dead here, but it has used most of the Creeping Chills. Sure. Sure. hoping to draw here. Flagger, it means we're just dead. So, on to the next match. Here for the second match. On the draw, which is unfortunate, but this hand overall is fairly decent against possibly a Giganta hand. Is this the Gruul? Nope. Okay. So, is it Prowess, maybe? It's definitely not, nope, we are up against Grixis Shadow. We are going to get sniped by Thoughtseize. Nice, nice. I was going to say, they have to take Serum Blaze here. I think I have to take this opportunity and resolve a Boros Charm. I know it's dangerous in the face of if they have their Shadow. Well, at least going fairly well, man. Can't complain. Suspend this, not give them a target with whatever counter spells they happen to be holding up here. Suspect they're holding up at least a Drown in the Lock, perhaps a Stubborn Denial. Interesting. A Croxa that they can't cast. Good to know. I think we resolve Helix while we can. So if I get hit with like a Cling to Dust, we're kind of toast, but the stream hasn't been going very hot, but the rest of everything else is going pretty reasonable. I think we try to go for the kill here. They have Spell Pierce, they have Spell Pierce. Which they do, which is fine-ish. I think we're just going to pay for it and kill this Dragon Rage's Channeler. Slow down there. Attack. So they have one card in hand, they've surveilled some card they like to the top. So suspect that was in their hand, because I don't think they would surveil that to the top. That goes to 1. This is bring back a Grixis, so we get to skull crack their face and kind of go from there. Even if they have Spell Pierce or Flusterstorm, we should be okay. Okay. So Grixis Shadow. Want the Sanctifiers. Path is a maybe. Firecraft's probably a yes. Deflecting Palm, maybe. Eidolon is not great on the draw against their deck. A couple copies of Boros Charm can be awkward. They could bring in Cling to Dust against us, but I think I'm supposed to go like this and maybe a palm in. It's really hard sometimes. Let's go like this. I think on the draw we risk this hand. Playing with a solid enough start. That is not the land card we were looking for. I think we go after this with the Rift Bolt. Kind of hope we draw the whatever the counter spell is here. Come on, give me an untapped land, please. Guess I should have been more specific. Really wanted an untapped. White source. Fury, it's an interesting one to know about. No sense fitting over these. Going to resolve that while we can. Oh, that's right. This is what we're playing against. I think we played against this individual a couple weeks ago. So we're taking 8 here. Bolt, skewer. I think I just concede. Try like this. Guess I'd like to play first. This hand just doesn't do enough. This hand's very painful, but I do think we keep it put back. Lava Spike. Dual Summon King is not ideal, but I'm not going to go to 5 against an attrition matchup. Let's see. Tolarian Terror. Keep back this one. Dealing ourselves a bunch of damage. Mystical Dispute. Okay. So we're deciding what to do with their fetch land. Not playing the land because we really want to be able to trigger Revolt on Searing Blaze. Go upstairs with Bolt. Okay, consider on top of our deck. Our opponent to 9, no reason to let them use their mana. Okay. Probably should have bolted their face there. And 4 more damage. I could guarantee a land. I wouldn't go after their creature here, but on land, please. Fetch land, whatever. Yep, bolt. Spell Pierce, Spell Pierce. Yeah. It's kind of how the matches have gone lately. Alright, we're back for match number 3. I guess another Giganthalagek. I think this hand's a mulligan. Mulligan into complete trash, but I think we have to keep it on 6. Wait, what? So we were on the play? Yeah, the hand was definitely unkeepable on the play. Between 2 spells we couldn't cast without a whatchamacallit source. Okay, our opponent's on a monkey deck. Gonna risk our opponent having a second monkey here and not get blown out by. I think, you know, I kind of talked about it on the ban speculation thing on the main channel. I honestly think iteration and run and iteration would be the best ones to go. I think it's time that Ren just leaves the format. I don't think anything's actually happening tomorrow with Modern. I think it's more, oh, we're up against that deck. Got it. So we're up against the, is it, Gruul, Underworld Breach combo deck. Or maybe not. Not sure if that deck's in that pile or not. I should probably look up Aspiring Spike's stuff. Okay. Guess we should have just bolted on instep. Twitter. Okay, why is my opponent floating mana in response to that? Sure. Boom. And then do that. Do that. Cast with Spectacle. So once again, still looking for Aspiring Spikes list to see if this is an Aspiring Spike pile. Indeed it is. Sideboard, they have not much. So we'll bring in the Sanctifiers, bring in the Smashes, Might want to bring in the Vortexes because they have some 0 mana stuff that they need to resolve. Eidolon's fine. Boros Charm can go. Riftbolt can go because we're bringing the Vortexes. Eidolon's fine. Skullcrack's like okay against specifically Shadow Spear, and that's about it. So if I get blown out by Shadow Spear, so be it. Creatures in their deck, they have Goblin Engineer, Ragavan, and that. So maybe I'm supposed to shave like a Searing Blaze, but we'll roll with this, I suppose. Bring a couple Boros Charms back in. His hand's like, alright. Turn 1, DRC. Yep, into Mishra's Bauble. We'll just play that. Pass. Holding up against a Dash Ragavan or something. Changing about 15 cards for Legacy to Modern back. It's been pretty dumb. You talking about Murktide and Delver? Yeah, kind of a little bit dumb. Dash Monkey. Surprise, surprise. Take one from that. I'm perfectly fine with. It's way too many Roiling Vortexes against Nurza's Saga. So you really shouldn't main phase this. Don't know if this is the right strategy for this matchup. It's literally the first time I've played this matchup, so I honestly don't know. I just don't want them untapping with a large construct token if at all possible. Nice. Yeah, I kind of wish I still had access to Murktide in Modern just as a change of pace from Burn. But obviously with nine creatures? DRC Ragavan and what? Or DRC Shredder and what else? I guess I'm blanking on whatever the ninth one is. Or are you referring to Delver with fetch lands? Alright, let's just scoop this one up. Because even if I kill Ragavan here, they get to hit me for 4. Yeah, it's just not a winnable position from here. Too many Roiling Vortexes that game. I still think we want the card, but this hand is not the best, but also I'm not going to turn down a Sanctifier and Vec in this matchup, so I don't know if anyone really wants it, but they should. Makes sense to be running that as like a one-of. With Experimental Synthesizer. Wow, that's a heck of a start. So what'd they grab here? Grinding Station. Some non-land. I'm gonna say a non-land draw would be definitely preferable here. Nice. Yeah, I haven't gotten any of the LGSs in quite some time between Married Life and some other stuff, so sure. Is that a 2/2 night? So they get to. Oh, they played Mountain. Seems good. Opponent's incentivized to trade here. activate that as a sorcery, so they have to decide to do it during their turn. We did board and smash, right? Yeah, we boarded and smash. Okay. Sure. Mm-hmm. We're still 100% dead, but, you know. Because they get to, like, smash us for a lot. Right on time. Alright, I think we're going to call it a night there tonight as far as the actual gameplay. Taking a look at the list overall. I mean, we had Sanctifier in Vec against 3 decks we wanted Sanctifier in Vec against. I should have been a little bit more aggressive with the mulligan with this against Dreadge. You know, the Tolarian Terror Grixis deck that we've run into a couple times now. Feels like a closest matchup, much like Death Shadow, except they don't have to deal their damage to Death Shadow. But yikes, that's a scary war dog. But we just continued to, you know, that last game, certainly I kept a 4-lander. And then we just didn't draw spells for a couple of turns, even with the lands. I kept it on the strength of Sanctifier and Vec being very good in the matchup, which, outside of them hitting Urza Sagas, it is very good in that matchup. But unfortunately, we didn't draw the follow-up like Smash to Smithereens or any of that kind of stuff against their decks, so it's kind of hard to win in those situations where you have opportunities to top deck, but then don't top deck particularly well. You know, it's really hard to maintain a positive mindset about a deck when you continue to perform particularly poorly with it league after league after league, and just kind of the place we're at right now. So continue to plug away at. As far as the 3 Eidolons, I can see it being fine. You know, it gives you an extra slot. to play with a little bit as far as spells. 19, 20 lands, I really haven't felt one way or another. Felt like we maybe have had maybe one or two more games where we have one landers, but that's going to happen even if you have 20 lands sometimes. The sideboard seems fine. Like I said, we ran into 3 matchups where we won Sanctifier. We didn't run into any of the matchups where we won Exquisite Firecraft. Continues to be a trend that we don't. Every time we play Exquisite Firecraft, we don't really run into too many blue decks. I guess we did bring it in against the Grixis pile, so it is something to consider. But just continues to be a little bit of a frustrating performance of late with the deck. But with the wonderful run that we had with before DMU and now the kind of things balancing out the other way. So, anyways, want to thank everybody for hanging out tonight. War Dog, everybody else hanging out here in chat. Hope you all have a good rest of your weekend, and don't forget to check out the YouTube channel, MTG Nexus VODs, where you can catch all of the burn replays. As always, thank you for hanging out tonight. This has been John for MTG Nexus. Hope to see you for next week's stream.